So really what community is that process of donning the sock of beauty. And and you do it, person by person and day by day and this and that. That's the real change. That's the real transformation. And that's what's inspiring me is that sort of awakening, to the a sense of agency. And that's what I, emphasize in Regeneration. And then in Nexus, which is on our website, regeneration.org, we talk about, practices and techniques and solutions, to do address, climate. And but we do it with, on every level, like as a person, as a family, as a neighborhood, as a community, as a college, as a city, as a company, as a corporation, as a province, as all different levels of agency we have, and those are where we have respect, those where we have influence, those where we listen, which is probably the most important thing of all. And that's where change is happening and can be made. It seems slight compared to Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, or all these people flying in on their privates and having all these great meetings and dinners, and, but it's not, it's where change, it's the only place change can happen. Just like the only way our bodies can change is cell by cell, it's not going to happen on TV. And so that's it's not only my inspiration, but I feel like it's emblematic of an awakening that's happening in the world that is not reported, because it seems just, well, yeah, that's happening over there. Well, yeah, that's happening over there. It doesn't make the news. It doesn't make headlines. And furthermore, as 90% of headlines, whether they're, whether it's on Twitter or whether it's on the New York Times or whether it's on some other form of social and so forth, is about, activating the amygdala, because the amygdala is, it's about fear, it's about threat. And that's what we read, that's what we hear, that's what we see. We just don't get the news of what's happening on the levels that you're inquiring about and that you're active in.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're able to move into the prefrontal cortex and activate those creative parts of our brains and that thinking, we're able to come together. Can you walk us through a little bit, Paul? Well, two things. One, you've done a tremendous amount globally to elevate the awakening that's happening. Blessed Unrest is such a beautiful example of that. Where are these points of light around the globe? But moving from that fear-based place to a sense of what's possible is a process and does take time and repetition to build those neural networks. Walk us through a little bit about what that looks like in terms of the beautiful work with the Nexus, the personal action plan, around how regeneration works. Where does a person engage? How do they start? What does that look like at a more human everyday level from your experience with regeneration or working with this broader awakening that's happening?
I think it starts even in a very simple way, actually. It starts by listening to yourself. It's very hard to listen when the world is shouting at you, and the world is shouting at us, and it's also speeding up. And so, the time available to us as people, as parents, as students, as, whatever, seems to be shrinking and contracting, where we don't have that. I think the one place to start is to go outside where you feel at peace, you feel safe in nature, and actually to just don't bring anything with you unless it's raining.